Hi everyone, let me ask you a question. What would happen if you decided, starting tomorrow, to wake up at 4 a.m.? Not 6, not 7, not when the world expects you to start moving, but when it's still silent, when the air is different, when the rest of the world is asleep. That hour isn't just early, it's powerful. It's the hour when dreams are still alive, when distractions are at their lowest, and when you take full control of your day before it even begins. Waking up at 4 a.m. isn't just about setting your alarm earlier. It's about rewiring your discipline, creating a mindset of ownership, and unlocking a version of yourself you've never met before. Because at 4 a.m., you're not just awake, you're ahead. You're building habits, momentum, and clarity while others are still pressing snooze. That's not just waking up early. That's changing your life forever. Waking up at 4 a.m. gives you control of your time before the world makes demands on you. Think about it for a moment. What usually happens when your day starts at the same time as everyone else's? From the moment you open your eyes, the phone is buzzing, emails are coming in, people are asking for your attention, and life starts pulling you in 10 different directions. By the time you finally catch your breath, half the day is gone, and you're left wondering where the hours slipped away. But when you wake up at 4 a.m., you step into a completely different world. It's quiet, it's calm, and it feels almost like time itself is standing still, waiting for you to command it. There is no rush, no chaos, no one asking you for anything. It's just you and the silence, and in that silence, you find the rare gift of undisturbed focus. In that early hour, you're not reacting to the world. You're creating your world. You're not responding to notifications or emails. You're setting intentions. You're not trying to keep up with the demands of others. You're setting the pace for yourself. And that shift, as small as it may seem, is the difference between a life that feels out of control and a life that feels purposeful. Control over time is not about adding more hours into the day. It's about taking back the hours that matter most, the hours when your energy is fresh and your mind is clear. At 4 a.m., you've stolen back time from the chaos of the world and you've claimed it as your own. Most people live their lives in reaction. They wake up, they rush to work, they scramble through responsibilities, and they never stop to ask, am I living on my terms, or am I just responding to everything around me? When you choose to wake up at 4 a.m., you break that cycle. You take the first few hours of the day to do what matters to you before the noise of the world takes over. That could be exercising, reading, meditating, planning, or even just sitting in silence and breathing in gratitude. Whatever it is, you are investing in yourself before the demands of others steal your attention. You're filling your cup first, and that makes you stronger, sharper, and more focused when the rest of the world begins to stir. There's also a mental power that comes with waking up early. It's not just about the clock, it's about the discipline it builds in you. When you decide to rise at 4 a.m., you're sending a message to yourself that you are in control of your life, not your comfort, not your pillow, not your excuses. It's not easy, and that's exactly why it's transformational. By conquering the first battle of the day, getting out of bed when everything inside of you wants to stay asleep, you've already proven that you can conquer bigger battles. That victory sets the tone for the entire day. You walk into the morning with confidence, with momentum, and with the energy of someone who has already accomplished something before the sun has even risen. Waking up at 4 a.m. also unlocks time that you didn't even realize you had. Think about the goals you've been pushing aside because you're too busy. Writing that book, building that business, learning that skill, improving your health, working on your mindset. These things often fall to the bottom of the list because you're overwhelmed with the noise of the day. But at 4 a.m., there are no distractions. No meetings, no traffic, no interruptions. Those hours are yours, and when you invest them into your growth, you multiply your progress in ways that most people can't imagine. While others are still sleeping, you're putting in the work that creates separation. You're moving ahead quietly, building foundations that will surprise everyone later when they finally see the results. And let's talk about the clarity that comes with the early morning. The world feels different at 4 a.m. There's a stillness, a purity, and a sense of focus that doesn't exist at any other time of day. In that silence, your thoughts become clearer, your vision sharper, and your creativity unlocked. You're not distracted by the noise of life, you're tapped into yourself. This is where big ideas are born, where goals are refined, where strategies are created. Some of the most successful people in the world use these hours for deep work because they know the mind operates at a higher level when it's free from the chaos of distraction. Control of time also means control of energy. By starting early, you structure your day instead of letting your day structure you. You decide what gets your energy and what doesn't. You decide where to put your focus and what to ignore. That control ripples into every part of your life. You're no longer rushing, stressed, or playing catch up. Instead, you're ahead, prepared, and calm, which allows you to make better decisions, perform at a higher level, and manage challenges with clarity rather than panic. This control is what separates leaders from followers, achievers from dreamers, the successful from the stuck. Waking up at 4 a.m. also rewires the relationship you have with time. You begin to realize that the most valuable asset in life is not money, not talent, not even connections. It's time. Time is the currency of success, and how you spend it determines everything about your future. When you claim the early hours, you're essentially paying yourself first. You're not giving away your best energy to the world. You're giving it to your vision, your growth, your priorities. That small shift compounds over weeks, months, and years until the gap between you and everyone else becomes undeniable. While others waste their mornings in bed, you're building a life they'll one day admire. There's something spiritual about this practice as well. At 4 a.m., when the world is asleep, you feel connected to something bigger than yourself. It's a reminder that you're alive, that you've been given another day, and that you have the power to shape it any way you want. That awareness creates gratitude, and gratitude creates power. Starting your day with that mindset changes how you carry yourself in every interaction, every challenge, and every opportunity. So waking up at 4 a.m. isn't about the number on the clock. It's about seizing control. It's about owning your time before anyone else does. It's about deciding that you're no longer going to live life on the terms of the world's demands, but on the strength of your own discipline and vision. It's about building a daily advantage that compounds into a lifetime of transformation. At 4 a.m., you're not just awake, you're awake to your own potential, and you're choosing to live on your terms. The discipline of rising early rewires your mindset, building unstoppable momentum for success. Discipline is not about perfection, it is about consistency, and few acts require more consistent discipline than choosing to get out of bed when everything inside you says stay comfortable. When you rise early, especially at 4 a.m., you are training your brain to reject the easy path and embrace the harder, more rewarding one. That single decision at the start of the day rewires the way you see challenges, the way you approach work, and the way you build your habits. It's more than just an alarm clock. It's a commitment to becoming a stronger version of yourself, and every morning you follow through, you reinforce that identity. Each day, you're not just waking up early, you're proving to yourself that you have control over your choices. And that belief becomes the foundation for every success you chase. Momentum is a force most people underestimate. Success rarely happens in huge, dramatic leaps. It happens in steady progress that compounds over time. When you wake up early, you create the conditions for momentum to build before the day has a chance to derail you. You exercise before others have opened their eyes. You read and feed your mind while the world is still quiet. You plan your day with intention before chaos arrives. These small actions, done consistently, create a snowball effect that grows larger with each passing day. That is what unstoppable momentum looks like. It's not about one big win. It's about stacking small wins day after day until the gap between you and those who lack discipline becomes impossible to ignore. The discipline of rising early also sharpens your focus. In a world that thrives on distraction, most people never get a single moment of pure clarity. But in the early hours, when your phone isn't buzzing and no one is demanding your attention, you experience an environment that allows deep, undisturbed work. This is when you can think clearly, when you can map out strategies, when you can devote your energy to the most important tasks without interruption. That ability to focus deeply and consistently is what separates the good from the great. Rising early doesn't just give you more time, it gives you higher quality time. And that difference is life-changing. Discipline also builds confidence. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you grow stronger internally. Most people struggle with self-belief not because they lack potential, but because they don't trust themselves to follow through. But when you wake up at 4 a.m., when you get out of bed despite how you feel, when you honor the discipline you committed to, you send yourself a message, I can be trusted. That trust builds confidence, and that confidence fuels bold action. Soon, you're not just waking up early, you're tackling bigger challenges, making tougher decisions, and pursuing goals that once felt out of reach because you've proven to yourself that you have what it takes. Rising early also teaches you mastery over comfort. The human brain is wired to seek pleasure and avoid pain, which is why so many people settle for mediocrity. But greatness lives on the other side of discomfort, and waking up at 4 a.m. is one of the simplest, most effective ways to train yourself to embrace discomfort. You feel the pull of the pillow, the temptation of sleep, but you override it. You tell yourself, my goals are more important than my comfort. And that mindset doesn't stay in the morning. It follows you into every part of your life. You start embracing the gym when you don't feel like it, tackling projects that scare you, making choices that align with growth instead of ease. Discipline creates a ripple effect, and that ripple transforms your life. Momentum for success is not built in big moments. It's built in the small, hidden hours that no one sees. Most people want the results of success without the discipline that produces it. They want the recognition, the money, the freedom, but they ignore the small daily choices that actually lead there. When you rise at 4 a.m., you're living differently than the crowd. You're doing what others are unwilling to do, and that is why you'll have what others only dream about. Every early morning becomes an investment in your future self. It's like compounding interest. The earlier you start, the more it grows, and over time, the results become unstoppable. There's also a shift in identity that happens. When you consistently wake up early, you stop seeing yourself as someone who avoids challenges, and you start seeing yourself as someone who seeks them. You begin to carry yourself differently because you know you've already won the hardest battle of the day, beating your own excuses. That identity shift is powerful because success is never just about skills. It's about who you believe yourself to be. If you believe you're disciplined, if you believe you're capable, if you believe you can endure discomfort, then nothing in life can stop you for long. Rising early plants those beliefs deep in your identity, and from that soil, success grows naturally. Even biologically, discipline rewires your mind. When you rise early and structure your mornings with purpose, you train your brain to value order over chaos, long-term reward over instant gratification. You build neural pathways that favor discipline, making it easier to follow through in other areas of life. It's no longer just about the morning. It's about how that morning discipline strengthens your ability to stay committed to fitness, to learning, to relationships, to business, to anything that requires consistency. Discipline in one area bleeds into every area, and soon the structure of your mornings is mirrored in the structure of your life. Momentum, once built, is almost impossible to stop. Imagine pushing a heavy boulder. It's difficult at first, but once it's moving, it takes on a force of its own. Success works the same way. At first, waking up early feels like a battle, but once you build the habit, the momentum carries you. You no longer have to push as hard because discipline becomes who you are. That's when breakthroughs happen. That's when opportunities open. And that's when success begins to feel natural instead of forced. The hardest part is starting, but once you commit, you create a life where momentum is always on your side. The discipline of rising early is not about denying yourself sleep or making your life harder. It's about choosing to live intentionally, to live above average, to live with clarity and strength. It's about building a rhythm that fuels your goals instead of drains them. It's about stacking daily victories until you've built a mountain of momentum that no obstacle can slow down. Discipline may feel difficult in the moment, but over time it becomes the most powerful advantage you can ever give yourself. The world doesn't reward talent alone, it rewards consistency, and consistency is born from discipline. When you choose to rise early, you're not just waking up at a different time, you're stepping into a different version of yourself,